horrible people." "Now, now," Mrs. Adams interrupted, expostulating mournfully. "I'm sure Walter's a good boy." "You are?" Alice cried, with a sudden vigour. "You are?" "I'm sure he's good, yes, and if he isn't, it's not his fault. It's mine." "What nonsense!" "No, it's true," Mrs. Adams lamented. "I tried to bring him up to be good, God knows, and when he was little he was the best boy I ever saw. When he came from Sunday school he would always run to me, and we'd go over the lesson together. And he let me come into his room at night to hear his prayers almost until he was 16. Most boys wouldn't do that with their mothers, not nearly that long. I tried so hard to bring him up right, but if anything's gone wrong, it's my fault." "How could it be? You've just said—" "It's because I didn't make your father take this new step earlier. Then Walter might have had all the advantages that other—" "Oh, mama, please!" Alice begged her. "Let's don't go over all that again. Isn't it more important to think what's to be done about him? Is he going to be allowed to go on disgracing us as he does?" Mrs. Adams sighed profoundly. "I don't know what to do," she confessed, unhappily. "Your father's so upset about this new step he's taking. I don't feel as if we ought to—" "No, no!" Alice cried. "Papa mustn't be distressed with this, on top of everything else. But something's got to be done about Walter." "What can be?" her mother asked, helplessly. "What can be?" Alice admitted she didn't know. At dinner, an hour later, Walter's habitually veiled glance lifted now and then to touch her furtively. He was waiting, as he would have said, for her to spring it. And he had prepared a brief and sincere defense to the effect that he made his own living and would like to inquire whose business it was to offer intrusive comment upon his private conduct. But she said nothing, while his father and mother were as silent as she. Walter concluded that there was to be no attack, but changed his mind when his father, who ate only a little, and broodingly at that, rose to leave the table and spoke to him. "Walter," he said, "when you've finished, I wish you'd come up to my room. I've got something I want to say to you." Walter shot a hard look at his apathetic sister, then turned to his father. "Make it tomorrow," he said. "This is Saturday night, and I've got a date." "No," Adams said, frowning. "You come up before you go out. It's important." "All right. I've had all I want to eat," Walter returned. "I got a few minutes. Make it quick." He followed his father upstairs, and when they were in the room together, Adams shut the door, sat down, and began to rub his knees. "Rheumatism?" the boy inquired, slyly. "That what you want to talk to me about?" "No." But Adams did not go on. He seemed to be in difficulties for words, and Walter decided to help him. "Hop ahead and spring it," he said. "Get it off your mind. I'll tell the world I should worry. You aren't going to bother me any, so why bother yourself? Alice hopped home and told you she saw me playing around with some pretty gay-looking berries, and you—" "Alice?" his father said, obviously surprised. "It's nothing about Alice." "Didn't she tell you—" "I haven't talked with her all day." "Oh, I see," Walter said. "She told Mother, and Mother told you." "No. Neither of 'em have told me anything. What was there to tell?" Walter laughed. "Oh, it's nothing," he said. "I was just starting out to buy a girl friend of mine a rhinestone buckle I lost to her on a bet this afternoon, and Alice came along with that big Russell fish, and I thought she looked sore. She expects me to like the kind she likes, and I don't like 'em. I thought she'd probably got you all stirred up about it." "No, no," his father said, peevishly. "I don't know anything about it, and I don't care to know anything about it. I want to talk to you about something important." Then, as he was again silent, Walter said, "Well, talk about it. I'm listening." "It's this," Adams began, heavily. "It's about me going into this glue business. Your mother's told you, hasn't she?" "She said you were going to leave the old place downtown and start a glue factory. That's all I know about it. I got my own affairs to tend to." "Well, this is your affair," his father said, frowning. "You can't stay with Lamb and Company." Walter looked a little startled. "What do you mean, I can't? Why not?" "You've got to help me," Adams explained slowly, and he frowned more deeply, as if the interview were growing increasingly laborious for him. "It's going to be a big pull to get this business on its feet." "Yes," Walter exclaimed, with a sharp skepticism. "I should say it was." He stared at his father incredulously. "Look here, aren't you just a little bit sudden, the way you're going about things? You've let Mother shove you a little too fast, haven't you? Do you know anything about what it means to set up a new business these days?" "Yes, I know all about it," Adams said. "About this business, I do." "How do you?" "Because I made a long study of it. I'm not afraid of going about it the wrong way, but it's a hard job, and you'll have to put in all whatever sense and strength you've got." Walter began to breathe quickly, and his lips were agitated. Then he set them obstinately. "Oh, I will," he said. "Yes, you will," Adams returned, not noticing that his son's inflection was satiric. "It's going to take every bit of energy in your body, and all the energy I got left in mine, and every cent of the little I've saved, besides something I'll have to raise on this house. I'm going right at it now I've got to, and you'll have to quit Lamb's by the end of next week." "Oh, I will!" Walter's voice grew louder, and there was a shrillness in it. "I got to quit Lamb's at the end of next week, have I?" He stepped forward angrily. "Listen," he said. "I'm not walking out of Lamb's, see? I'm not quitting down there. I stay with 'em, see?" Adams looked up at him, astonished. "You'll leave there next Saturday," he said. "I've got to have you." "You don't expect anything of the kind," Walter told him sharply. "Do you expect to pay me anything?" "I'd pay you about what you'd been getting down there." "Then pay somebody else. I don't know anything about glue. You get somebody else." "No, you've got to." Walter cut him off with the utmost vehemence. "Don't tell me what I got to do. I know what I got to do better'n you, I guess. I stay at Lamb's, see?" Adams rose angrily. "You'll do what I tell you. You can't stay down there." "Why can't I?" "Because I won't let you." "Listen, keep on not letting me. I'll be there just the same." At that his father broke into a sour laughter. "They won't let you, Walter. They won't have you down there after they find out where I'm going." "Why won't they? You don't think they're going to be all shot to pieces over losing you, do you?" "I tell you they won't let you stay," his father insisted, loudly. "Why, what do they care whether you go or not?" "They'll care enough to fire you, my boy." "Look here, then. Show me why." "They'll do it." "Yes," Walter jeered. "You keep saying they will, but when I ask you to show me why, you keep saying they will. That makes little headway with me, I can tell you." Adams groaned, and, rubbing his head, began to pace the floor. Walter's refusal was something he had not anticipated, and he felt the weakness of his own attempt to meet it. He seemed powerless to do anything but utter angry words which, as Walter said, made little headway. "Oh, my," he muttered. "Oh, my." Walter, usually sallow, had grown pale. He watched his father narrowly, and now took a sudden resolution. "Look here," he said. "When you say Lamb's is likely to fire me because you're going to quit, you talk like the people that have to be locked up. I don't know where you get such things in your head. Lamb and Company won't know you're gone. Listen, I can stay there as long as I want to, but I'll tell you what I'll do. Make it worth my while, and I'll hook up with your old glue factory after all." Adams stopped his pacing abruptly and stared at him. "Make it worth your while? What do you mean?" "I got a good use for $300 right now," Walter said. "Let me have it, and I'll quit Lamb's to work for you. Don't let me have it, and I swear I won't." "Are you crazy?" "Is everybody crazy that needs $300? "Yes," Adams said. "They are if they ask me for it, when I got to stretch every cent I can lay my hands on to make it look like a dollar." "You won't do it." Adams burst out at him. "You little fool! If I had $300 to throw away, besides the pay I expect to give you, haven't you sense enough to see I could hire a man worth $300 more to me than you'd be? It's a fine time to ask me for $300, isn't it? What for? Rhinestone buckles to throw around your girl friends? Shame on you! Ask me to bribe you to help yourself and your own family." "I'll give you a last chance," Walter said. "Either you do what I want, or I won't do what you want. Don't ask me again after this, because—" Adams interrupted him fiercely. "Ask you again? Don't worry about that, my boy. All I ask you is to get out of my room." "Look here," Walter said quietly, and his lopsided smile distorted his livid cheek. "Look here, I expect you wouldn't give me $300 to save my life, would you?" "You make me sick," Adams said, in his bitterness. "Get out of here." Walter went out, whistling, and Adams drooped into his old chair again as the door closed. "Oh, my," he groaned. "Oh, Lordy, Lordy, the way of the transgressor." End of chapter 15.